Welcome to the Practical Consciousness Podcast with James and Lisa, where we help you tap into your highest selves in everyday life. Hi, welcome to Practical Consciousness, the podcast. I'm James.
And I'm Lisa.
Today's podcast is a little bit of a departure maybe than our normal, more organized, although it's never really organized, but
Not really.
we're doing something different today as well. Let me change that too. We're gonna post on YouTube a video of us recording this podcast.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, so that's a little bit something different, and we're gonna play around with it and see if people prefer to look at us while instead of listen to us. I've always said I have a face for radio, so a bit risky on my part. But today we wanted to talk about just, we're in the heart of the coronavirus, kind of shut down, I guess, and we're all locked up in our homes and, doing all that kind of stuff, working from home, or maybe we've lost our job or we've been furloughed, or maybe, we're spent time with our spouse more than we like. We have kids running around. We're trying to teach them. A lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainty. And when we were getting on the podcast, getting ready to record, Lisa shared that, her energy is not really great. And so we just thought, okay, let's talk about that. Let's just put ourselves out there a little bit for our listeners and maybe watchers, and just explore those feelings and explore what we're going through. And also right before we got on, Lisa and I were talking about how a lot of people don't realize that what a lot of us are going through is a grief process.
Yeah, we've lost our normalcy, our schedules, and all our privileges, everything.
Yeah, it's so true. So you said, when I asked you before we got on, I asked her, what would she describe her energy as? And she said tired. So
yeah,
tell me more about that. I mean, you're tired. What does that mean?
Well, I feel physically tired, like I could go take a nap. So I've been pushing myself to get things done. But during this whole thing, I have been telling my students and myself to listen to our bodies and do what we're asked. There's a difference between being depressed and tired and allowing yourself to just sleep every day, all day long. That's different.
Yeah.
In that case, you might need some therapy. But in this case, where we're going through something that we can get through, this tiredness that I feel, I should honor it and just go take a nap. I got to go. See ya.
Yeah. And she's off. No, I mean, I've been talking with several people over the last couple of weeks, and clients, and I've been hearing this same theme. It's like we're just sort of like down maybe a little bit, and a lot of it is that's what they say. They say, I'm just tired. Maybe they equate it to maybe not sleeping well, or
it could be that too,
and being a little bored.
Yeah.
And then of course just digesting everything and trying to just manage it. So that makes perfect sense. I guess I'm a bit of a pariah. I've been really, Lisa and I talked about this a little bit while back. I've been really quite at peace. It's really odd.
Yeah. And I have too, but there's this off and on wanting to just hibernate kind of feeling.
Yeah. I think it's normal. I think it's normal to, if you think about it, and I think you would add to this from a physical perspective, right? Kind of going on what our guest Angela Smith was talking about on our last podcast, is that we're going through this cycle. We're going through these well, up and then we're down and then we're up and then we're down, which we do all the time anyway. But it's kind of amplified, I think, to some extent.
It's totally amplified. Yeah.
And I hypothesize, this is just, you know, I don't know these things, right? But I have to hypothesize that some of us, the up and down is really extreme, and maybe, you know, like if there was a wave, it's close together, you know,
Yeah.
it's like
Mm-hmm.
doing this. And then I think some of us have a more gradual climb and a more
Yeah.
gradual decline and a more gradual, you know, and that it's a little less like extreme, right? It's like a little up.
Yeah.
I'm going backwards from my it's like, it's weird. Okay, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to look at it. It's like a little up and a little down and a little up and a little down, and it's just gradual.
Yeah. But
And
I think that that's probably more normal. I think the spiky is maybe not necessarily healthy.
oh,
I
interesting.
don't know. That's what comes to mind. I don't know. You know, if you're just like you're totally at peace and then suddenly bam, you spike up.
Yeah, I see what you're
That just
saying.
doesn't seem right.
Yeah, a little bipolar maybe.
But I think what you're saying is just the curve is different for each person.
Yeah.
You know, for some people it's really like just a tiny little wave, which is actually what the more I get into meditation and mindfulness, the more my life is like that, as opposed to the up and down. It's more just like this. And my goal is to smooth that out as much as I possibly can.
For sure. Yeah, live a more content, I guess, existence. Also, I've noticed too, some of the clients I've been talking to and some of the people I've been connecting with who are parents, especially of like young kids or any kid really, but especially young kids, that I think there's this real pressure to have this responsibility to make sure they're not, you know, dealing with anything, and that their education's continuing, and that, you know, this time is fun and then not depressing and all this other kind of stuff. And what I think ends up happening in that case, I had a conversation this morning actually with somebody. I think they take care of themselves last. It's like they take care of everything else and they take care of themselves last. And I imagine that that catches up with you eventually, when you think.
Yeah. I think a big part of one of our lessons in what's happening right now is to go inside and take care of ourselves. So it's really important. And yes, when you have kids, you know, you have that responsibility. But
sure.
I always tell people the best way to teach your kids things is not anything you say to them. It's what you show them. So you need to demonstrate self-love and self-care if you want them to grow up and love themselves.
Well, yeah. And I think, you know, a high conscious way to say that. And I say, when I say high conscious, I thought hopefully people who've been listening to this long enough would know that I'm not judging that as better. But a high conscious perspective, I think, a broader perspective, if you want to say it, is that if you're not looking after yourself, it's going to impact the people you're looking after.
Yeah.
You know, like on the airplane when they tell you to put the mask on yourself first, right before you put it on your kids. You've got to look after yourself, you know?
Yeah. You can't help anybody if you're in a bad place. Even if you think you're faking it, it's not working.
Yeah.
There's energy behind it, and there's no way to fake that.
No, exactly. And we talked about this. We did a little post on our Facebook group right when this started, just to kind of settle people down. And we talked about, you know, if you need a permission slip to look after yourself or to feel what you're feeling, you know, we just tell them James and Lisa said it's okay.
It's okay. I can take a nap. They said it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, like in your case, you know, you're tired, you just want to take a nap. And What's stopping you from doing it besides recording this podcast?
Yeah, that was it. My meeting notice came. I was like, dang. No, actually, what I'm going to do, because I live in Seattle and it's weirdly sunny right now. So as soon as we're done, I'm going to go for a walk. If I am still tired when I get home from that, I'll lay down for a little bit. But I'm going to go for a walk. I have a feeling that's going to energize me.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually relatively busy right now. I mean, I don't know why, but I am. And I had on my to-dos to complete this content thing I'm creating or starting to create. And I sat down to do it, and I was like, I'm not feeling the mojo. I'm not feeling like I really want to do this right now.
Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur, I guess I can make choices like this, but I basically said, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go for a run. And I went and threw my sneakers on and I went for a run, and it felt fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt so great afterwards. Now, if I would have followed my to-do list, and I would have like got to the run at the end of the day, like I typically do,
Yeah.
then I think I would have dreaded the run.
Yeah, you might have, because you wore yourself out, pushing yourself to do things that you didn't feel like doing.
Yeah. And I bring that up is because I think right now, a lot of people are feeling a lot of pressure of responsibility in general, like, right? Most of us, a lot of us, I think, are working in the corporate world. And, or we just have a lot of responsibilities. Maybe we're a stay-home mom or whatever, and we do whatever we do. And I think a lot of us just have this tremendous amount of responsibilities.
Yeah. Well, one thing I can think of is people who have never worked from home before, who are suddenly working from home. There's a lot of stress in that because it's different. And I can imagine, I know this from experience because I worked from home when I was at Honeywell. When you are working from home, you feel like you need to be sure that you're staying on task and getting things done all day long. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of unusual. It's just different than when you're in the office. I don't know if you ever experienced that.
Yeah, no,
but you're like, I better make sure I'm getting all my stuff done because I don't want to lose this privilege to be able to work from home.
Yeah. The place I worked at that wasn't allowed very much. I had some freedom, but yeah, I was the same way. It was like, well, even when I left my corporate job and became a full-time coach, I felt this pressure to get up at a specific time and, just continue that pace.
Yeah.
And if not, amplify it, actually, because I didn't want to view myself as lazy or taking advantage, blah, 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 blah. A lot of, we talk about judgment, we talk about attachment, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of attachment and judgment on myself.
Yep.
Yeah, I would give our listeners a coaching question. What would it look like for you tomorrow or the next week, whatever, if you let go of those responsibilities? What would happen?
Yeah. That's a good question. People should think about it. Journal about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, for me, when I ponder that question, and my business coach actually asked this question, so I kind of stole it from her, Stacey Hartman. And for me, the answer was, right now, especially, not a lot would change.
Yeah. Well, especially right now. That's why it's important for people to give themselves permission to change things up a little bit. Maybe you don't get up at the same time, or maybe you allow yourself to go for a walk in the middle of the afternoon, or,
What if you now, I realize people in a corporate position or having kids stay home, and maybe they have more requirements, I guess, on them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what if you looked at this time as permission to cocoon? Because you know what I know, spiritually speaking, is everything is a cycle. Everything is a everything is a cycle,
Right.
and I know that there's always a breakdown, right? There's always a death or
Ending.
an ending. Yeah, that's good, perfect. And then there's a rebirth from that ending.
Yeah.
And I can tell you in my life, there's all these constriction moments, I guess. I've always called them cocooning, but basically there's these times in their life where everything kind of breaks down.
Yeah.
I think we're collectively seeing it right now
Yeah. It's absolutely.
on the
That's what's.
globe.
Yeah.
But then what rises out of the ashes of that, uh, uh, I can't think of the word, but what rises out of that is a new level, a rebirth,
Yeah.
a better version.
I think it will be a better version. I think we're all experiencing a little bit of a shift for the better.
Yeah.
Even though some of it's some people might be thinking, well, how can you think that, because this is painful or this is difficult. But if you think about it, whenever you go through something difficult, there's a lot of growth that happens. So there's a lot of growth happening. There's a shift in consciousness.
Yeah.
There's a
I
shift
use
in
the term
consciousness.
the fire transition. There's a fire in transition. There's a pain involved.
Right.
And so I bring that up because I think, maybe what if like your tiredness is your body's way of saying, we need to go in the cocoon for a little while because we're going to need the energy for the rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to conserve our energy right now, go into the cave and hibernate or what it, because I do think we should listen to our bodies. Our bodies are
Yeah.
so much more in tune to what's going on in our heads.
Yeah. Well, we talk about that. The body is the receiver of our intuition. And so if your body's telling you something, it's kind of like that dream thing. We were talking about the dreams. It's a message from a trusted friend. Don't
Yeah,
ignore it.
exactly. And for me, I think my body goes the opposite direction. Yours to some extent. It wants to run. It wants the blood
Yeah.
to flow.
Yeah.
It wants to, I guess, chemically move things along to get ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had that yesterday. I felt that way yesterday. And I went for a really long walk. I exercised in the morning, but then besides that, I went up a very steep hill. I live near lots of big hills, and I
Yeah.
walked to the top of this big steep hill.
Woo!
I just felt energized to do it. Maybe that's why I'm tired today. It's like, okay, now it's time to rest. Yeah, I'll just go for a little stroll in the sun because I just want the vitamin D, and then I'll take a little rest.
Yeah. So before we came on, we were talking about because it's practical consciousness. What are some practical, concrete things that we can do to get us through this cocooning stage or this uncertainty? And it's funny. I think about this. It's like there's probably multiple kinds of people, but there's in situations like this, there's kind of two kinds of people, and I think you and I kind of represent maybe those two kinds. There's people who want to get through it as fast as they can and get on to the rebirth or get to the changes that are going to happen or plan for that. And they want to spend this time right now to prepare for what's next.
Yeah.
And then there's the kind of people who are going to take the approach of, no, I'm going to use this time to take a step back, take a
Yeah.
breath, observe, and prepare. I'm still preparing, I think.
Or well, I think if I'm getting what you're saying, those people are probably more along the lines of, wow, look at this opportunity. I'm going to take it and I'm going to relax.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to use
take
this time to regenerate,
Yeah, take
cocoon,
care of
take
myself.
care of
And
myself.
yeah.
And neither are good or bad. You just
Right.
are.
So those are some good things. I mean, we've already talked about listening to your body and doing what your body's asking you to do.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then the other thing, I think we talked about this before when we did the Facebook Live, was connecting with people. Lots of people are doing it, and that is definitely something that's a good thing to do, that's going to help ground you to interact with people who you care about.
Exactly. We're social animals, and
Mm.
a lot of us work was our social outlet, and so you've got to make a conscious effort now to
Mhm.
connect. And people are being so creative. It's just awesome to see some of the things that people are doing
Yeah.
in very, very creative ways to continue to have connection with people.
Yeah, lots of musicians are doing live broadcasts. So many people are creating funny, silly little songs and skits about the coronavirus.
And people are playing games.
And games. Yeah, we were doing that with my family. There's a app that we were using, a house party or something, that you can all go into, and then you play games with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
One of the things I've been doing this week that is really, I'm surprised how actually helpful it is watch comedies,
Oh yeah.
laugh.
I've heard other people
Laugh.
people are like, tell me the funniest movie you've ever seen, because they just want to watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just had a meeting. A bunch of us just had a meeting, a bunch of coaches, and we had a meeting, and the entire meeting was on Zoom, and we had the snap cam going, which makes you all distorted and funny, and is the potato and the pickle and all that kind of stuff. And we did the entire meeting in one of those, like I was a pickle.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
I laughed so hard my face hurt.
I
Because
love it.
people were like dancing and doing these kind of things. It was so fun. It was just a
Yeah.
blast. And so, as much as you can play and just just don't take life quite as serious
Yeah.
right now.
Have a dance party.
Have a virtual dance party.
Have a virtual dance party. Yes, people are doing it.
I know. Yeah. Our Brooklyn, our
Mm-hmm.
our friend who was on here as a guest,
Yep.
she's been doing virtual dance parties where she's DJing.
She has been. Yeah. I jumped on a couple of them. Yeah. It's so fun.
I reached out to her and I told her she should do a virtual stand-up routine.
Oh yeah, she should totally do that.
I would. Oh,
That would be fun.
yeah.
I'd be there. She's hilarious. Totally. Episode 23, I think she is.
Yep.
22 or 23. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just realized.
What?
This is our 25th episode.
Yay!
We should have some sort
happy anniversary.
Some sort of celebration here. Let me see. Let me check something here. Let me see.
Do you have
an
option to throw confetti?
No, I was going to try to bring up my snap camera so everybody could. I'd beat the pickle and celebrate. Anyway, the other one that's I think really important is meditation.
Oh yeah, always. That's number one.
You and I are just true believers in meditation. Some kind of mindfulness. Check in with yourself.
That's the first step for anybody who wants to ease suffering in their life. That's the first step, because you have to stop the mind chatter. That's your escape. That's your savior, is to get out of the mind chatter and find some peace in being mindful, or just being in the present moment, just finding peace in the present moment. So
yes, amen.
I did just upload a meditation to my website. It's under like free stuff. I have like a tab called free stuff. It's the first free thing that's there. I should call the tab, should say free thing, because it's just one thing.
Well, we'll put it in the Facebook group. We'll put a link to that so people can do it. Yeah. Because if people don't know, Lisa is a meditation teacher, amongst other things, and you're getting on Insight Timer, right?
Well, I joined. I have this meditation now. I should upload it there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I got to figure that technology out, and then I'll do it
after you go for a walk and take a nap.
Yeah, after that. Yes.
All right. Well, our time is up. We've done our more than 20 minutes. Flew fast, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll get this posted and simultaneously up on YouTube. And
this is going to be our first time doing that.
Yeah, so you can look for us there. And for everyone, I hope you're being well. I hope you're sheltering in place and having fun and cocooning while you're doing it, or planning for the next step if that's what you want to do. But everyone, please be well. We honestly care about you, and
we do.
So yeah, just take care of yourselves. All right. With that, we'll say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.